First, live, local. This is Fox 12 Now.
Everyone, this is Fox 12 Now. I'm Greg Nibbler. Thank you for joining us. We are live streaming here out of the Fox 12 Oregon newsroom, and we cover a wide range of topics. Today, we are talking about something happening on Saturday, November 2nd, and that is the Portland All Souls Water Procession. So this is something that's going to be in its fourth year, and really a pretty amazing event, very colorful, some amazing artists and artwork that's involved in it. And we got to talk to two of the founders, Ivy and Moni, and we came to them, well, they came to us via Zoom from their studio. I will say this, their studio does not have the greatest reception, so you may see a couple of times where the audio drops out just a little bit, but the main thing is getting to hear the story of both of them as two of the co-founders of why they wanted to start this and what an impact it's made to the community. And honestly, we get to see some pretty amazing artwork too, and even an exclusive that's going to be happening this year. So let's go ahead and watch it right now. Thank you both for joining us here today. You know, I am excited to learn more about the procession and everything that goes into it. But for people who don't know, can you talk to us about All Souls Day and how you got this, how you started this procession?
We started in 2021 while everybody was still feeling the effects of the pandemic. And there was a lot of unprocessed grief in the community. And we, in addition to just really having been so long without having ways to spend time with people we cared about, we figured we could address both of these things with a small procession that was about 30 people, I think, that first year. And we just wanted to work with that kind of cultural energy between like Halloween and Day of the Dead and the Celtic Samhain celebrations, and just kind of use that as a container for just holding the grief that we were experiencing, and to do that in a community oriented way where we were outside, so we didn't have to worry so much about, you know, the COVID concerns. And it was just this beautiful thing that came together. And as soon as we did it and we felt just the benefits and the beauty of doing that, we realized that, oh, we need to do this every year. And so it's been continuing ever since.
Yeah, I mean, please go ahead.
I would say All Souls, we use really in a more literal way, like we are calling all souls to honor and grieve all the souls of all of the departed this year. And it refers less to the actual cultural holiday of All Souls. We're really calling everyone and to gather and use, you know, the social technologies of art and ritual to make meaning and to help hold big emotion.
Well, and talking about that art too, as I can see, you know, some of it behind you, tell me about bringing in all of that imagery, especially when you were first starting out. What were some of the aspects and the things that you wanted to bring to this?
Yeah, well, this is the Bone Mother, and this is her second year. When she's carried as a puppet, she's about 10 feet tall, and she's got arms with skeletal hands. So she's kind of imposing, but also she has this grandeur that people are really moved by. And we'd started with a smaller skeleton puppet, but it wasn't enough to kind of hold, you know, the emotions and the grief like Ivy was just describing. So yeah, we built her, and then this year we've added several puppets to represent ancestors. So there's two on each side of her, and just to kind of humanize the imagery a little bit, because Bone Mother has a certain look that kind of maybe bleeds into Halloween a little bit. So we're trying to make it clear that this is very close to Halloween, but it is a very different energy. And there's a couple more ancestors over on this side. So I feel like they are able to help sort of make it feel more sort of emotionally accessible to people too, especially if they maybe see some of like their own, you know, something that, you know, helps them invoke their own ancestors when they're walking in the procession.
And when you talk about that, I mean, those are beautiful, number one. But also, you know, when you're talking about that procession, and as far as somebody, you know, tapping into that, what do you think is the right way for someone to approach coming to All Souls Day? Like, what would you say they should be thinking about when they're there to experience this?
Yes, it has a somberness to it. It is a way that we're approaching death, which we don't have a lot of opportunities to do in our society outside of a formal funeral. There's also, I as an artist, I am very much attracted to situations or works of art where there is both sadness and beauty happening at the same time. I feel that that kind of unlocks something in us in a way that just beauty alone or sadness alone just can't quite do. So just, creating that effect, and so for people to be ready to just kind of embrace that when they're there. And if they're bringing some of their own, maybe they're decorating a lantern, or maybe they have like a little red wagon that they're going to turn into a portable, like, little sort of shrine to somebody that's no longer with us, to just kind of carry that art and beauty vibe with whatever they're bringing to the event.
One of the things you mentioned is that, this procession, it's kind of combining a few different cultural celebrations or holidays and different aspects that can all be kind of celebrated during the same thing. So in that vein, how has the Portland community embraced what you've created here?
You want to talk about that, Ivy?
Well, we started out as a few dozen friends who were connected to place here on the north reach of the Willamette next to Cathedral Park, who worked the land together. But this grief ritual, which really is what it is, really struck a chord with the community. And last year, I believe we had about 300 people for the third annual. So that's a lot of growth. And I think what that speaks to is that there's a real hunger for gathering community to create out of things that we all feel but can't completely meaningfully express just alone in our homes, or perhaps our dominant cultural holidays aren't really giving us the opportunity to pull on the ancestral threads that gave them their original prominence. So, this is a time, not completely universally, but very, there are so many places in the world where this time of year people are venerating, honoring their ancestors, building beautiful containers for grief and beauty. And I think the rapid growth of this event just speaks to hunger and thirst, perspective, meaning, and connection.
Yeah, and finding a way to process all of that too, and getting that in together. For people who, let's talk about the event itself, because I want people to understand, clearly it's grown. You said you had a few hundred people here this last time. I'm going to guess that may even grow again. So for people who want to come out to this, and maybe it's the first time attending something like this, an All Souls Day procession, or even something like what you've created here, what can they expect when they come out there, and what should they plan for this experience?
Yes. First of all, they should know that it's not a traditional parade. When you come to the All Souls procession, we're hoping that you're participating. And that could be as simple as maybe just, bringing a lantern. It's going to be dark on the way back, so that's a practical consideration as well. But even though the event, it starts at 5, after people arrive, they have the opportunity to write names of loved ones in a book of names of the dead that will be read aloud later in the event. Also, if they have just messages, something that was left unsaid that they never had that opportunity, they can write that down on a piece of paper. None of us are going to read that. That's just going to be folded up and put in a metal bowl, that all of those messages are going to be burned at the river in the middle part of the event. So it's kind of like a release of something that, like this unsettled feeling that they maybe had. They had the opportunity to still get those words out and just kind of like just move through that feeling. So after they get there and they kind of have a chance to sort of get oriented and you know, do those activities, then we'll move into an opening ceremony where there will be the introduction of the different characters. So that's when the Bone Mother will make her arrival, and we'll also have a new character this year. Should we give them a preview? I don't know.
An exclusive?
Oh, here she comes. This is our practice invocation.
Oh yes, this is brand new. She's a lantern. She has a whole body that she connects to. So she's going to represent the river. We are the Portland All Souls River Procession, and so far the river has been just kind of there next to us, but we wanted to have the river get to participate as well. So we have a 22-foot long illuminated water dragon that's going to be the procession here. So so everybody will get to meet her at the opening, and she's the one that's going to start leading us along with a number of lantern carriers that are going to be walking at the front of the procession. And so we'll see them ahead of us, just lighting our way as we move through the park. We start at Green Acres, and we'll be having the opening ceremony in the main pavilion there. And then we go from there through Cathedral Park and underneath the St. John's Bridge, and then we'll go to the river, which will be the site of the river ritual. And that's where we'll have the reading of the names as well as the burning of the messages to the dead. You want to add any more?
Well, people can participate at whatever level they like, but one thing that anyone who comes can expect is for things to feel a bit larger than life. It's an opportunity to step out of the mundane. You know, I think the size of these beautiful creatures and our masks and music that we're making together is really an ancient way of just raising the permission level to be as expressive as you ever dreamed it could be. So we can expect that there will be a high permission level to be your most wild and beautiful self, part of the art.
Especially as the procession returns back to Green Acres following the river ritual. We have Portland Samba Band Bloco Alegria this year, and they'll be helping sort of shift the energy from the more somber tone of the first part of the procession and the ritual, and lead everybody back with all kinds of wonderful, vibrant, kind of bone-shaking percussion, all the way back to Green Acres, where we will have the celebration for the living, which once we've spent some time communing with our ancestors, it's now our turn to just be reveling in the fact that we are alive.
And this is something that's open for anyone who wants to attend.
Yes.
We have Children of the Moon playing some live music right after, and then DJ Galactician until midnight.
Well, anything else that you think is really important for people to know just about the All Souls Day procession that you've created and coming out to this event?
About the procession in general, I should mention that we have funding from Regional Arts and Culture Council, and we're really grateful because they allowed us to make that step from being just a small event with like 30 the first year, maybe 60 people the second year, up to like 300 last year. And because it is a free event, that funding has been essential. And as we see that the demand continues to grow and we want to just keep building, we're definitely going to be continuing to look into additional grant funding opportunities. But we just wanted to express our thanks to RAC.
Yeah, and to the enormous core of volunteers.
Absolutely.
Felt called to come week after week after week.
Well, it's really incredible what you created, and obviously you've hit on something that's important for a lot of people. I was just talking about that growth from a few people to a few hundred, and probably more, and a dragon. So this is it's pretty awesome. By the way, really quick on the dragon, how 22 feet long? How many people are controlling that?
6.
6 people. Wow.
Every pork is another person.
Well, it's really amazing, and thanks for having some time to talk to us too, and getting to see the behind the scenes here of the studio of where you're at, and I really appreciate that. And just thanks to both of you for what you're doing. And people can come out on Saturday for All Souls Day and join along with this. They're down by Cathedral Park and Green Acres, and just really thanks for having some time to talk to us.
Thank you for the invitation.
Thank you so much.